Sup, everybody? Sup. Chase, sup.
What's up, brother? What's up? How was your last week? I was in Denver all week last week. I got in, wait, is today Wednesday? Okay, so I would have got in Monday evening. Yesterday was more of a blur. It's been a long week. I hope you've had a better one than me.
Yeah, I'd say so. Look, I mean, I love being at live events, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I wouldn't mind being in Denver, but
We could have used you.
I also understand trying to get work done whilst at an event is a whole different ballgame.
Brother, it doesn't. And we're filming for Super Quest, and I was trying to get a bunch of footage for that. So, and if you don't know about Super Quest, be sure to go check out superquest_TV. It's a new little thing I'm working on, and I'm not going to spill too much of the fun, but go check it out. There's a QR code for you to scan and to enter the bounty. But yeah, I hope you had a good week. I'm sorry I did miss a few messages from you. I think I mentioned it yesterday when I was like back alive. I was like, hey man, sorry, I'm just seeing this. I was in the trenches in East Denver, but yeah, I hope you and Sander and both of y'all have been doing well over the last week.
Yeah, all good, man. Welcome, Sander Gortjes. Where are you coming in from, man? Are you from Europe right now?
Well, yeah. First of all, thank you for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be here with the awesome Supra community. I'm calling in from Dubai right now, but as you can already sense, my last name isn't Middle Eastern or whatever. It's a very European name. So my nature and home ground is the Netherlands.
Nice.
Welcome, bro. Well, looking forward to digging into Hello Labs, man, and we appreciate you making the time for us.
You're welcome, guys. We've been working with Supra now for a very long time. And, each and every time we start talking to you guys, but also the founders, and we look at the community, we're like, wow, you guys are really making something truly amazing. And we need to put a spotlight on that. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah, baby. Let's dig in, man. All right. So to our community, what's up? Welcome to our second live stream of the SUP. So nice and fun. Hope you enjoy my new background. This ain't the luxurious resort of the Seychelles or something. So I hope y'all are enjoying that.
You're frozen, actually.
Oh, that's great. Actually.
There we go. You're back. But yeah, the new background looks great. This one, it makes you even look more rich, actually. So,
well, fortunately, we can tell that it's actually so, guys, just a couple of things to run through real quick. Super dApp Showdown Season 1 applications have officially closed. So currently the judging team are collating all the entries. We're making sure we're going through the projects, making sure what they have submitted is all on track and looks good, that they're ready to present. So we're going to be having a full-on judging event within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Keep an eye out on our socials for when that happens. So we're excited about the Super dApp Showdown.
It actually gives me, I'm glad that's actually a perfect segue of what we need to mention here as well before I forget. The creative bounty. So the first one, which is the What's That 90s based commercial, that one has been finalized. We do have the winners already picked for that. We'll make an announcement this week. We were going to make it last week during the community call on the 26th, but with everybody traveling, a lot of core members were at East Denver last week. It just made sense to move it till this week so that everybody was back home and could, put the puzzle pieces back in place together. So yeah, be aware of an announcement probably later on this week. It will be this week though, so no more delays. The only reason we did push it back again was because of East Denver. And again, in case you haven't seen it, we did mention this and kind of talked about it on, I guess it would have been 2 weeks ago on episode 7. Check out our DeFi Revolution page to get the vision of what we're building in Supra's architecture. You can find that at supra.com/DeFi-revolution, or you can go through our most recent post on our X or on our Discord. There's announcements, and Telegram there's announcements made as well. So feel free to go check that out.
Sweet. Also, just a quick mention, if you guys see me wiping my face with a towel, it's because it is a killer summer day here in South Africa. And unlike what some people think, I do not have AC. So I'm feeling...
Where's that guy? Where's that guy was talking about you taking all of our money?
I wish. I'm sweating for you, my brother. I'm sweating for you.
What is the temperature there today? Temperature check, but you have to give me in Fahrenheit.
The last check I had was 30 degrees Celsius. So it's not quite Dubai level, but it's 30 degrees Celsius with 85% humidity. So it's fine.
Can the chat help me out? Chat, what is that in Fahrenheit?
Yeah, let's see.
I
While,
literally-
while the chat helps you out, just a quick run through of projects that are live on Mainnet, everyone. I'm going to list their X handles, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Firstly, Pumpit.pro. That is their X handle. Real simple, Pumpit.pro. It's a meme coin marketplace on Supra. So you pump your meme coin, you create your meme coin, it lists straight on Dexlyn Labs. Go check them out. They are doing great things already. Pumpit.pro is where it's at. And then speaking of Dexlyn Labs, of course, Dexlyn Labs, one word, already $6 million in volume. I mean, this is the first Dex on Supra, and it's only been live for a couple of weeks now, already hit $6 million of volume. So things are happening, and you better check them out if you haven't already. Dexlyn Labs. And then HoudiniSwap. If you guys haven't checked out HoudiniSwap, if you have Supra and you don't want to go through the centralized exchange rigmarole trying to, it can be a mission sometimes, and you got a whole bunch of Supra, and maybe you want to get into a bit of ADA after Trump said he's going to put it into US Treasury. All you got to do is go to HoudiniSwap. You can change your Supra for any token in the entire Web3 ecosystem. We're talking thousands of tokens. There is a minimum amount of Supra that you need to hold, which isn't a lot. I think I worked it out, about $120 worth of Supra per exchange. But if you have that much Supra and you want to convert it into something else, just go to HoudiniSwap and check them out.
I love it. I love it. Also, the chat did let me know that that's like 86 degrees in Fahrenheit. And brother, that is child's play. Okay. An 86-degree day here in Houston, Texas is something that we pray for during the summer. We go on stretches of 105 to 115 weeks at a time with no wind, humidity at 130%. If you want to feel like hell on earth, come to Houston, Texas about June or July. I'll show you what a real trench feels like. Okay.
Well, the question is, do you have AC? That's all
yes, absolutely. You don't have AC in Houston, Texas, you die. You melt into the pavement. You just go away. You become one with Earth again, brother. Yeah, you have to. I think it's actually law that if you rent a place or house, an apartment complex or whatever, you have to have a central AC unit within your house, because if not, it's considered unlivable, and that's a real thing. It's real.
Well,
it's crazy.
I think Sander's probably listening to this from Dubai. Like,
yeah, he's
nothing
he can cook it.
What's going on in Dubai?
They make their own rain. They make their own rain. Okay, I'm not too worried about Dubai. Okay.
But when they make rain, they make a little bit too much of it. So
yeah, dude, I saw that last year. Did you see the airport when it was just like completely flooded over? Dude, that was insane. I guess that was about a year ago.
Yeah, I got like pictures from people walking back home, like trenching water up their heel, like hey.
Yes. Also, and I saw, and this is a terrifying thought. So I heard about people that were, when they were trying to like get home or walk through the city, they were grabbing on light rails and were getting electrocuted to death because like their city, it wasn't built for that. It wasn't expected to have all this flood that goes over the electrical boxes. And hey, I mean, what a terrible situation. But yeah, I remember seeing it last year. Absolutely crazy. But not to go off track too much, but let's dive right into the show and see what you got for us, brother. Sander, welcome to the show. This is our first time having you. I know we work together a little bit within Supra, but we've never talked face to face, so it's nice to kind of put a face to the name. Could you give us a quick rundown to who you are, what your background is, and how you got into Web3? You can make this as long or short as you like. I know this is a pretty common question.
Super. No, yeah, like a quick intro. So I'm Sander. I'm 41 years young or old, depending on how you look at it, I guess. Got my background in like digital marketing when I was still very small, 2004. Did that for a while, but headhunted by Qualcomm, NASDAQ, stock noted company, helped them set up like a digital lead generation. And then like late 2016, I left them and I already sold one other company. And I said, let's build a piece of software that basically tracks people across the web. I think we can innovate in that space. And one of the devs said, yeah, that's cool. Let's build it on blockchain. I was like, oh, cool. Does Bitcoin do that? And he was like, no, dummy. And there's something new. There is something called Ethereum. So, and you could build smart contracts and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, this is intriguing, right? So at that moment in time, we thought we bought way too much ETH. This is like January 2017. We started developing. The whole ETH development cycle was absolutely terrible, was too slow, didn't work for what we were building. But the other development track that was like the typical development track really took off. We did really well with that company, sold that, and I started doing angel investing in the space. Around 2020, So I've been always at the intersection of like technology, marketing, entertainment, business development. And back in 2021, I met my current partner, Paul Dexlyn. Paul is the creative director of the MTV Video Music Awards and also creative director of some AAA celebrities in the US. And we basically came out with a simple game. We said, let's call it the Super Mario of crypto. We did really well, self-funded it, completely doxed, nothing crazy. And when we saw the bear market hitting in 2022, we said, okay, our objective with the game was to bring in people into the space and make sure that they understood, how easy is it to build in the space, but also how can you invest into the space and how can you actually interact with the space, right? So when we saw the bear market coming in, we basically saw, okay, the next wave, that's basically where the big adoption should be coming in. And we were acquainted with a lot of KOLs already from being a builder in the space and an investor in the space. But we said, the only way that we can actually build this space is by going beyond what, we can do on any given day, start up a YouTube channel and start creating content, or, build a Twitter platform, or, an alter ego. So we said, why don't we build a television show? And that was the idea. And we knew that we had the background. I used to work in television before going into digital marketing. And we actually built the show. And KillerWhales is now into the second season, where we're about to release the second season. It is a show that looks like Shark Tank. It is distributed on Apple TV and Amazon Prime. We have a reach of about 700 million people, about 35 million viewers. We are partnered with big brands like CoinMarketCap and Altcoin Daily. They co-produce the show with us. They bring in the right talent. They bring in the right KOLs. And throughout the last 2 years, we've basically been working with all the big KOLs in the space to bring them to the show, but also make sure that whenever a project is coming to the show, they actually are speaking to some of the legends in the space. Yeah. And if you look at that lineup, you'll definitely see some people you'll love, but you'll probably also see some people that you have something more. But yeah, that's all entertainment, right? So we need to have that. And of course, we also have our own token, which allows you to trade with the whales and invest with the whales, and that's a token called Hello. So we've been building that ever since. So yeah, very happy to be here and discuss how that actually works in the Supra ecosystem.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Obviously, if you've been in the space even for a little bit of time, maybe just right as the bear market hit, you definitely recognize some of these people up here, especially the Thread, right? That was really part of the bear market as a fool, and he was kind of the shining light at one point for Ethereum. Anything that was happening on Ethereum that had his blessing kind of was the only thing that would pump. And a big fan of him. He's a cool dude. I've met him in NFT NYC a few years back. I guess that would have been right before the bear market hit, maybe late 2021. So yeah, I was big into the NFT scene. He was too. He had a morning show that he would do with all these NFT projects. So I would be in it every morning. I was very in the NFT Ethereum game from probably 2019 until 2022. Still very much so involved. But as you know, the Ethereum NFT side has slowed down a lot. It's kind of expanded into other smaller chains. So kind of talking about KOLs, excuse me, how did you gather these big names? I mean, like I said, everybody that's listening now knows at least 2 or 3 people that are up behind Thread right now. How did you gather these KOLs to be judges and more so investors?
Yeah, that is actually a great question. I was still wondering that ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, right.
No. So some comes through like networking, right? So you just mentioned like BAYC and Bunch of Penguins, and I was in there like very early as well, like at Midday, and the same with like CryptoPunk. So you kind of get to know each other, by being in the space, right? Being active, being part of the community. So that is a big thing. But basically, how it all worked out was that we had this idea. We created like a basic pitch, and the first project or first company that we actually approached was CoinMarketCap. And the thesis that we pitched to them, we also pitched that to Altcoin Daily, which was the first KOL to actually get on board and embrace this. And the whole thesis was, how do we grow the space with something that is of a Hollywood type of quality production that actually goes on to Apple TV and Amazon Prime and all these big streamers? And how do we create a podium so that builders in this space can actually pitch their idea and get support, funding, acceleration grants, stuff like that, to actually build the technology and the ideas that they have. So Altcoin Daily and CoinMarketCap embrace that. Like, it's genuine. There's no insider trading. They have big fat contracts that they cannot buy a token before it goes onto the show. They cannot be invested into the project, stuff like that. But we do promote the project and we do push the project. So once we got through that first hurdle, we said, okay, we need everybody that makes waves in the space. So I flew to Dubai. Sat down with Mario and he said, hey, this is something that could really build your brand, blah blah, and he was all in. The same thesis. He's like, okay, this can actually build my brand. We can get in more people. So we had Altman Daily, Mario. After that, I had a discussion with Ren. I started discussing it with Gracie from BitGat, and they all kind of came trickling in. And now we're at the point where most people are basically DMing me or one of my colleagues to say, hey, can we do something with the show? So yeah, I think that most fell for the appeal of big distribution, something else than YouTube or Twitter, but also the fact that we're producing this on a very high production level and it actually has the reach that a lot of projects are trying to get, and we try to curate that in a very smooth and honest way.
Yeah, no, and I think y'all are doing a great job with it. And as you kind of touched on at the beginning there, you were saying, what's an easy way to get people interested into Web3? And like, okay, well, Shark Tank, everybody in the world loves Shark Tank. It's like, I probably have 5 items in my kitchen that are from Shark Tank, right? That ended up being a business that I just ended up loving. I love the show. I love the concept of the show, right? It's like these people go in there with their guard down and they give you everything and they're telling you exactly what's going on. And y'all have the numbers. You can see if they're actually telling the truth or if they're bullshitting you. And so having that and watching the people fumble when they are bullshitting and watching the people react is something I enjoy just seriously. So I love the concept. I love what y'all are doing. I do agree that the production value, I think, helps in the long run, because it doesn't feel like a Web3 show. It's like when you're watching it, you're like, okay, well, this is definitely produced somewhere high end and with high end content on the back end of it with a lot of money behind it as well. So yeah, salute to y'all. I'm really excited what y'all are doing. And we're excited to be involved in that as well. So yeah.
Yeah. The best way to get people in is by giving them entertainment, right? Something that they understand, and then translate it into something that is Web3, born and raised. And I also think that what really gets people in is entertainment, right? Having fun. And if you watch the show, season 1, but definitely season 2, there is education in there, but there is banter. There is banter between the whales. They have little battles between themselves. They have like banter with the projects that are pitching, and it's really cool to see. Sometimes there's like a really builder guy coming in, and he does extremely well. And sometimes there's a very even maybe a KOL type of builder coming in, and they get into a fight like first 10 seconds. So it's really entertaining to see, and we're looking forward to push season 2 out and reach even more people and get more people into the space.
Yeah, again, and I won't harp on this too much longer. I'm just so interested by it. But I think the concept of people that even if you don't understand Web3 or if you don't understand blockchain technology, the show is still interesting to you because of the fact that you just explained, right? It's like you have people arguing or trying to make deals on trying to buy this person's business, for lack of a better term, or dApp or project in Web3. And the human mind loves to see arguments. I think it's just like it's built into the human mind that you like to see a little bit of confrontation happening. And when you can be on the opposite side of that to watch from the outside looking in, I think it's entertaining for anybody. So yeah, continue killing it over there. And yeah, sorry for harping on it so long, but I'm just I'm a big fan.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe one good thing to say is that, and that is also for the Supra community, right? So this whole industry is on the verge of a breakthrough, right? Trump in office, everything's happening at the same time. We are pushing these types of show out. A lot of other productions are going on, and I think people underestimate the impact that mainstream still has. We think that we're a big industry, but we're a small industry. And I would give you like one or two examples. So on season 1, we had 3 projects in there that we thought, oh, these are really good, but they were very small. By the time the show aired, they 10x or 20x in terms of value and valuation. And even 6 months later, 3 projects got a multi-million-dollar investment. 1 project actually got acquired by MetaMask. So the impact of putting yourself out there into the mainstream, and you see that also with Shark Tank. If you present yourself well, if you have good product, and you're able to explain why this is very interesting, a lot of people will hook on, and especially if you make an impact in any shape or form. So yeah, I think we are there. We're gonna have a tremendous 2025 together, and I think just keep on building, and if you're interested in working with Supra or on the show, just apply, and we'll discuss it together and see where we can bring you.
Boom, baby. I mean, I didn't actually make space for people to chat to you or apply to KillerWhales. I would imagine that you have like a ridiculous amount of applications to be on the show all the time. I mean, what is the application numbers, per season?
I'd say it's close to like 400 to 500 projects each season. And the tough thing is that out of these, let's say 400, right? So let's keep it small. Like out of these 400, there are like, I'd say 200 really good projects. So it's very hard to make a selection on who is coming on and who we think will grow. And we also need to think about, okay, where is the industry once this is, because that is like 6 months later. So we have a lot of applicants, and that's also why we try to partner with partners like Supra to make sure that we understand who is coming on and what they're building, and we understand the technology and stuff like that. But yeah, besides the show, we work with the Hello community on looking into projects. We work together with the Whales on should we invest as a community into the projects. We also have like a lot of different spaces and like moments where these projects can actually taste a little bit of the contact with the KOLs and the KillerWhales and the Hello community. So it's now all turning and coming together into something like, hey, you don't have to apply to be on the show, but you can basically apply to be grown or accelerated by the Hello community and KillerWhales itself, because we have spaces, we have podcasts, we have these types of like YouTube interviews, and we don't bother our numbers. So any number that you see on the space, that is like 100% legit, and that's how we started in the space, and that's how we want to run it. And that is a little bit in contradiction, I think, sometimes with some stuff that you see happening. So yeah, it's wonderful to see how many projects actually grasp that opportunity to do something bigger and something else than what everybody else is doing. And I think you need to do that with like 30,000 projects launching a day almost, right? So there's a lot of differentiation potential here working with KillerWhales or the Hello community.
So talking about doing something bigger, I've seen you guys have actually launched the Hello token. So Hello Labs actually has its own utility token, which is real interesting. Can you give us a breakdown of what the token's used for, like what Hello Labs' plan is with it? I mean, I see there on the promotional poster, you guys talk about KillerWhales is powered by the Hello token. Just give us a rundown of what's the plan.
Yeah. What we conceived was, at the beginning, we had the games, so people can play the games that we have, Doge Dash of that, to really addictive games that people play using the Hello token. It's basically like a pooled solution, right? If you win, you win big. But when we were setting the show, we were thinking like, how cool would it be if you're a Hello community member, you can actually decide which projects are on the show, how they perform, et cetera. So the Hello token community has this voting power over which projects come onto the show. So it's basically, it's not a DAO, but it works a little bit like a DAO. So projects can come in and communicate with the Hello community, and the community actually holds the token, so they kind of vote which projects come in. We do that with one episode each season, and the other projects are coming in on a basis. But I think more importantly, recently, the last half year, we've been building a lot of technology and token utility around the show and the token itself. So we are really close to launching a full new platform called Hello Club, which is basically a locking and staking solution where you get direct access to the projects that are launching on our Hello Launchpad, where you can invest and trade with the whales. So all the KillerWhales that you see on the show, you can now all of a sudden invest into a project together with, I don't know, Marina Fall or Otto Daily or Anthony Scaramucci, or, it doesn't matter. So we use some of the projects that we incubate as a Hello community. We put them onto the Launchpad. We make sure that everything's like super neat. We have a DEX, we have an LP locker. There are revenue streams coming from that we kind of share with the Hello token community, right, in a very legal way. And people can even if you're part of the Hello Club, you get free merch. You can participate in questing platforms. So you get to know the other projects, or you actually amplify the reach that we have. So there is a lot of token utility about to drop. We're working on it every day, but the Hello Club is a very big one, and it's basically it's a summary of solutions that any founder needs to actually start up a project and launch it decently, but also a environment where the Hello token holders actually can interact with the whales and benefit from airdrops that the projects on the show are doing to the Hello community, where the Hello incubator projects come in and they add some value to the community, and where the community can add value back. So we really have this grand vision where the Hello token itself is an access tool, but also an influence tool. And besides that, it has a lot of technical solutions like a DEX and an LP locker. So it's basically quite a lot of things at the same time.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And you kind of mentioned it. Coming back to KOLs you've worked with on KillerWhales, obviously KOLs are a huge part of community building and marketing strategies in Web3. It's always going to be that way. The people that have been here a long time have the connections they do for a reason. And I think people are willing to pay these people for their help, right? So speaking on that, you've been a consultant for Supra for, gosh, it feels like over a year now. How long have you been working with this? Yeah. It seems like over a year. Okay, yeah. So yeah, and I was about to, at Web3, it feels like you've been here for 10 years, brother. But I knew it had been at least over a year in real time. Can you explain to maybe people that don't understand KOLs and strategies, what does a good KOL strategy look like?
Yeah, so a good KOL strategy, I think it depends on your objective and where you are with your project at which moment in time. And the funny thing is, when me and John started talking about this, how does this actually work, and what are the deals and how do you structure them? It's very important to understand what you're doing, because one, KOLs cost an awesome amount of money or tokens, and two, you really need to understand how you get the most out of it. And I think that for any project also launching within, for example, the Supra ecosystem, is that you need to make sure that whenever you use one of these KOLs or you work with them, is one, they actually need to understand what you're doing. So there are a lot of agencies that would just sell you a couple of tweets, but that doesn't work. You need to get ambassadors on, people that understand what you're building, and that they actually also have a sense for, pushing the project. And whenever you do an update, that they actually see, okay, this is what they're building. They're actually following on the timeline. So they get bullish themselves and they understand what is being built. And for Supra, we've been working together on signing almost all major KOLs from an ambassador role, supporters for God knows how long, with certain deliverables. And sometimes these KOLs go above and beyond. But we also focus on, for example, trading KOLs. So, trading volume is important also for additional listings and growing into the space. So the strategy that Supra has planned out is really effective and really interesting to see, because we can't tell anything about it, but I see the movement there all the time and the discussion going back and forth. So you need retail KOLs, you need the trading KOLs. And these KOLs are not always the KOLs that you see on YouTube. They're quite often in a Discord channel or even behind a website or a private community. So you need to understand, okay, if, for example, if we would launch, hypothetical example, if we would try to launch on a exchange in Russia, very bad example, but let's say there's a very big exchange on Russia, then we need to make sure that the top traders that are working on that exchange actually promote Supra, because that will spur up trading volume and that will trigger, the giants again. Right. So there is a lot of depth into these conversations. So you need to, get the right KOLs, train the KOLs, you need to get influence KOLs. And most recently, we've been working with a lot of different DeFi KOLs that actually understand, hey, Supra is for the first time ever opening up the DeFi ecosystem. And that means Supra is doing that before the EVM bridge is there. And we all know that a lot of liquidity is on EVM or on Solana, which is coming as well. So whenever we then go out to the DeFi KOLs, we say, hey, we know that you're like an EVM guy or whatever, but this is Supra. These are the really cool solutions. This is also the technology that creates these whole new use cases that we can explain to you in human language. And you can get in before this EVM adoption comes in. So that means if you come in now, you start working with these bridges and these DEXs and these LPs and all of that stuff, what we just saw with Dexlyn, for example. and you are in there when EVM opens up and the liquidity flows in, you know what is going to happen, right? So it is an extremely bullish moment for a KOL if we pitch it like that. And that's also why it's, for a project like Supra, it's not, I wouldn't say easy, but if you pitch them well and you understand what they need and you're reasonable, they're very interested in this stuff. So yeah, that took a little bit longer, but you guys get a little bit of an idea.
No, man. I mean, I think that's important. Like understanding the strategy of what goes into dealing with KOLs is really it's an intricate process, and I think a lot of communities don't actually get it and understand what goes into it.
I do too.
I think
Wait, I do want to touch on this again. Sorry, James, before you moved on,
Yeah.
I wanted to just say, because the KOL topic to me is super interesting. And so I have been friends with people that have great projects, but they don't have any money, right? And it's so they run into this barrier of trying to establish relationships with KOLs, and sometimes it doesn't happen. And then these great projects end up just kind of returning back to earth because maybe they didn't have the eyes on it, they didn't have the money to promote this project. In your opinion, and I guess to your vision, let's say I do have a great project that I know is probably, whether it be great for community building, whether it's tech, whether it's a Dex, whatever this may be, but I don't have the funding. Do you think that projects that do not have funding or do not have KOL support, do they have a chance against other similar projects? Because I've seen community outweigh tech time and time again. And this has been true for anything. It could be an NFT project, it could be blockchain technology like I was talking about, but you'll have the community or the hype always outweigh the tech if the tech doesn't push the community. So in your opinion, do you think it's viable for great projects to have zero influence or zero KOLs behind them to be successful in this market?
1,000%. In the end, it all comes down to, I think, a couple of things. So I think the tech matters. I think the idea matters. I think the founder matters. But I also think how you actually treat your community and how you grow that community. Because these four things, they make a good project. And they make a good project also for a VC to come in.
Yep.
And it also makes it more interesting for a KOL to come in. And you also need to, you need to be like very honest. Why do you try to get KOLs on? Because you want to tap into their community so that they can see what you are doing and they resonate with that and they become your community. That's the mechanism, right? That's what you're trying to achieve. So without great community, great founder, and definitely also cool tech, Pump.fund, all of these things, some of them grow organically because you solve something, or there's a unique use case, or I don't know, you launch a really cool NFT, you launch a cool PFP, right? And you have a couple of friends that support you, and you go out and basically you conquer the world. And I think that's the beautiful story that can still happen in Web3 that is very hard to achieve in the Web2 world. But because projects here can be built in like hours, basically, and with good rationale or with good ideas, you can really grow. So it starts with community.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Sander, what about the slightly nefarious KOLs, right? I mean, you are pretty experienced with KOLs across the board, whether it's in DeFi, whether they're trading KOLs, whether they are building KOLs, builder KOLs, dev KOLs. There's a lot of scammers out there. You mentioned one country in particular. How do you filter out scammers from the decent ones? Is there a line where someone is strictly a scammer, or is that like a gray line? And does someone like you, as a consultant who's dealing with KOLs on behalf of someone like Supra, do you have to be subjective in who you work with? And how do you do that?
Wow, that's a really hard question, right? So it's a multi-layered question as well. So what is a scammer, right? So I think that if you look at the lineup of KOLs, you probably, if you ask 100 people, everybody is a scammer, right? So the definition is like, what is yeah, so maybe people think that I don't know, right? But I have good intentions always, but in the eye of the beholder, there might be something else. But no, I think how you go at like KOLs, and that's also how we got to the selection to the show, right? It's like who actually adds value to the product and the brand that you're trying to build, and also make sure that you don't get lost into like the woods of like agencies offering you like 100 KOLs with a different PMP, which is basically an AI like type of tool that it's just like sending out tweets randomly and asking $500 for that. Our strategy is always like very clear. Let's go top down, get the right KOLs that you think match your brand. All of them are achievable if you come with the right idea and you have a warm intro, I guess. Because even the big, people like Alcon Davy, right? They have like 5 million viewers across 2 different platforms. They move markets if they talk about you. And for example, the pitch to Alcon Davy for Supra was very easy. It was like, hey, this is like L1 integrated Oracle services, great team, really smart technology. Build a move, so that means that they're coming into EVM later on. They've built all these really quirky and cool things into the blockchain that you can't even imagine to think about what it can do, and they are like interested because they see, okay, this is something that actually can change the market, and that's also why these conversations are easier. But I really think it comes down to, okay, who do we want? Which ones fit the brand, and which type of gaps do we fill, right? If you look at KillerWhales, we see a picture of Mario Naval. Hate him or love him, but you gotta respect the hustle, right? Because he's everywhere, and actually he's nowhere because he's doing like this journalistic thing, and he's still everywhere in crypto. So how do you do that, right? So and the single Wendy O, she's like one of the most sincere, cool persons in the world, but she actually moves market. But she's very big in TikTok, she shifted her narrative a little bit. Trap Guy went from like being on ETH, NFTs, moving into basically meme coins, and then moving into streaming. These guys, they innovate themselves over and over in time, and they all have a profile and they all have a reach, and you just need to be aware of what that is, and think smart and make wise decisions on who you get in.
Yeah, and I think the successful ones in this industry, you have to be able to move with the market. There is no such thing as being stagnant within Web3. Well, I'm not talking about business. I'm just talking about projects. I'm talking about being a KOL. The space moves so fast that the second you become stagnant, you start falling in the past. Like if Thread would have stayed doing NFTs during the real fallout of the bull, then it's like, he probably doesn't have the platform that he does anymore. People stop caring because it's like, brother, you're preaching NFTs that are worth $2 right now. What are you talking about? There's no value in there for me. The community's gone to meme coins, and that's kind of what happened, right? The NFT market went away, went to Solana to do meme coins, and things have now kind of stayed there. Solana's crushing it still. So, but okay, here, I want to talk about this for a second. Let's say little old me, Chase. I have 1,500 followers on Twitter. I've been in the space for a long time. I have a bunch of connections. What if I wanted to become a KOL? If I wanted to become a KOL, what would be my first step into doing so? Is it building relationships with already pre-existing KOLs that I might have a connection with and asking them, how do I get in? Or what is it? What would be the steps of me becoming a KOL?
I think you nailed it with that answer. That is one thing for sure. So network, surround yourself with people that are like-minded and want to do the same thing. But I also think it really comes down to like, what is your thing, right? What do you think about, right? So, and the space has become so big that, yes, there are a couple of like really big KOLs, but there are also like KOLs that specialize in a certain part, right? So, for example, the DeFi KOLs, they are a lot smaller, like 100 of the big KOLs, but they really have punching power because they can translate, if you hold 10 ETH somewhere in a wallet, then you want to have the best yield on it. Why would you put it there and not there, right? And they are able to explain that. In the end, that is what people are searching for. They want to resonate with somebody that they actually understand, and that brings them the information, whether you're a newbie or a more expert type of trader or investor into the Web3 space. So yeah, surround yourself with the right people. Make sure that you have a specialism and you clearly communicate that and you create content about that and you're having fun with that. I think those two are the most important things, and then work your ass off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then that's the It's easy to say, but I mean, it really is. Being in Web3, there is no guideline to getting into this space. There's no easy way to learn about Web3 and just be in the trenches. Is really the only true way to like learn Web3 and learn more about it. And speaking about being a KOL, I have an idea for a show, and I'm going to say this publicly because I don't want anybody to steal it from me. But what this is called, and I'm going to make it short. So my first one's going to be posted today on Twitter, so nobody can steal it from me. It's called Blockchain with Babies. And what I'm going to do, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old kid. And what I'm going to do, and I'm going to ask them one question today about blockchain. And I just want to post their answers. And it's going to have nothing to do with blockchain. And they're not going to have any idea what I'm talking about. But it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to do is get people that know about blockchain to share these videos with people that don't give a shit about Web3. And now Web2 is like, what is blockchain? Guess what? Now they're Googling. Now they're laughing at my kids talking about action figures. And I have all these questions of being like, what would you do if somebody stole your crypto? It's like, they don't have any answers for this, but it's like, that's what I want to do. That's an easy way to get people like interested and involved in Web2. So nobody can steal my idea. Said it publicly. All right. So just setting it out there now. Blockchain for babies coming to X today. And so moving on.
Don't forget to list your coin on our brand new meme listing.
Yeah. Oh man, I should have said it. Somebody's gonna create it already before we get off.
Pro, brother.
It's already got it up.
Let's
All
go.
right, blockchain for babies. You heard it here first. So we've seen some crazy stuff this bull cycle, if we even want to call it that. Are we in a bull yet? Are we at the starting a bull? Who knows? But with the Argentinian president tweeting out a coin named after his country's Libra, Trump's saying he'll put the likes of ADA and XRP into strategic U.S. Treasury Reserve. Do you think politicians are the new KOL?
I got to
put you on the spot, brother.
There's no other way. Hey, but first, getting back to your question, like, are we in a bull market, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Bitcoin hit like what, 109K, right? Yep. So are we in a bull market? Yes. But are we in a very niche? Yes, I hope so, and I think so as well. No, yeah. Getting back to your question, I think that there was some top signals, right? So Donald Trump launching a meme token, the Argentinian president launching a meme token. These are top signals, right? But what you see is now there is a little bit of a bounce back. But you saw that in other cycles as well. But there is so much adoption now that the only way is almost up, right? So are these if you look at like, I would have mentioned like the cycle like 8 years ago, but if you mentioned this cycle like 4 years ago, and you would have said back then, hey, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is dropping a meme token on Solana, you would have been like, what? One, Solana is going to drop out, and two, the American president, let's first get past Gary Gensler, right? So the adoption has been crazy, and there is so much work going for us at this moment in time. I think we're living in a period where there's like this final moment in time where you get into great projects at a very early stage, because mainstream adoption, and I mean like corporate adoption, is you just see it in front of you, right? So it's a hopeful period, and it would be good to have a little bit less of like these crazy things, like these meme coins being dropped, because it's fun, but it doesn't really add value to like actually the technology and the future of blockchain. But it's entertaining for sure.
That it is, right? I mean, even if you weren't, I have friends that aren't in crypto that know that I am in crypto, and they're sending me screenshots of like the crypto drama. I'm like, okay, this is like the precursor of all my normie buddies being like, hey, what are the coins that I start buying? Because I'm not one of those people that like, if you don't know that I'm in crypto, you would never know that I'm in crypto. It's just like I look like a sad dad that likes to watch sports every day. It's like what I do.
Disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But it's like, so that's, you would never know. It's like, I don't talk about it, because the thing is, it's like, most people don't know. If you walk into a room of 100 people in Houston, Texas, where I live, and you go, all right, who here knows about blockchain technology? It would be me and some other bozo in the back left corner that stands up, and it's like, all right, well, me and you were going to have a really boring conversation in front of these other 98 people. So it's like, when you have the view of the American people, especially, that are all interested in crypto now because of the governments, not only us, but governments kind of getting involved in the strategy, it becomes very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also crazy. Everybody was like expecting like a strategic reserves of Bitcoin. Well, what does the president do? He just brings on like 5 or 6 different coins, and then he has like a wait list.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like, fill your bags, because this is taking off, right? So it's a wonderful time. And it's also, I also think that I still remember when we were producing, for example, the first series of the show, and we were produced in the US, and it was like 2023, early 2023, and we were like, let's not do anything strange with investing in tokens, because we're gonna paint a target on our backs for Gary Gensler, because this is all of a sudden like a show about crypto on Apple TV, and we were staying away from America. And now everybody's like, made in the US, we're in the US. So it's like the pivot is so big, and we needed somebody to lead. So here you have to lead, and it's also, hey, it's the biggest country in the world. So how bullish is that?
Exactly.
Like, can't get any better.
It's ridiculously bullish, actually. Like it's actually insane for us that have been around for ages in this industry. It's like, what kind of simulation are we actually living in? Like, it's just insane. So I'm actually curious, Sander, what do you actually think of Trump's push for this crypto strategic reserve? I mean, do you think he's honestly, and I don't know if we're allowed to say this on this live stream, maybe we'll get in trouble, but I mean, do you think he's just trying to pump bags, or is this really a long play?
To be honest, and I'm not a fan maybe of the person that Trump is, but as a businessman, I have a lot of respect for him. He gets stuff done. I'm using kind words.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, what task you put in front of him, if it's resolving like the Ukraine-Russian conflict, or is it talking about Gaza, or is it talking about, what they're going to do with Bitcoin. He understands what the audience wants, and he understands how to build a business. And he's proven that over and over again. So what I actually find remarkable is that everybody in the space was like looking at, okay, there is this strategic Bitcoin reserve coming, digital gold. What Trump has basically said is that, hey, it's not only about Bitcoin, it's not only about cryptocurrency or digital money, it's about digital infrastructure. And that is super, super interesting, because this is a business guy, running the biggest company and country in the world, that says, hey, this whole cryptocurrency thing, this whole blockchain thing is much more than trading and gambling. And, so he sees the value. And I think if you look at the list of assets that are in there, of course, it's very US based. But if you look at that, banks can use this, corporates can use this, everyday people can use this, working people can use this. He looks at this like, this is the digital infrastructure of the future, and we need to be in there, besides being in one of the biggest Bitcoin holders. So our biggest dream was a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. And what does this guy do? He just blows it up 20-fold. And that's when people start thinking like, oh, wow, there's actually technology behind all of this.
Yep.
And this is like the internet of like, and he's basically buying Facebook, Google, TikTok, and Microsoft at the same time, whilst the price is low in his opinion. So yeah, I can only say, I was impressed, and I was like, wow, this is extremely bullish.
Yeah, and kind of touching on that a little bit more, speaking on how tech is going to be the thing to really drive this moving forward, right? Over the last year, you've been really involved with the inner workings of Supra and what we've been working on. And what excites you about kind of what we're building? And I know you can't say everything, but like what would be the most exciting things about Supra that you're looking forward to this year?
The most exciting things about Supra is that some of the ideas and developments that are already in place when I invested. So I started my travel with Supra by investing into Supra, right? So I didn't come on as an advisor. Only after that I came on. And what I read in the white paper back then was this idea, this notion of an L1 with a native Oracle, with all these like automation tools within the chain that basically allows you to tap in different forms of liquidity. That's what blew my mind, right? So the technology's there. It's like 3 or 4 projects in one. If you then look at like the execution of space, the speed, the security, all of that stuff, it's even top notch. So you're building 3 things at the same time, and everything is top notch. Everything blows away. It's basically faster than anything that we've seen. It's more secure, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm extremely bullish on seeing that come to life. And with that, we're only live on Move. it's only move, right? So we're not an EVM, we're not on Solana. Just imagine what happens if you bring that technology, that superiority of technology into the EVM ecosystem, liquidity and builders, or the Solana ecosystem, liquidity and builders, and then start integrating with all the wallets, start integrating with more exchanges, start integrating with more projects, deliver better services. That is what makes me extremely bullish. And I can go on and on and on. There are a lot of more things in detail. But if you look at the grand vision, Supra is a project that I'll be holding in my portfolio for the next 10 years. It's super simple, right? This is the moment in time where we basically come to market. There's we're growing, we're building. So, there is no reason why Supra wouldn't be, in terms of like valuation, in the top 10 projects. There's no reason why we shouldn't be there. It just takes a little bit of time in building that. And the second thing that I want to bullish about is the team. So the founders, John and Josh, you guys with the community, the team, the BD team, everybody, it doesn't matter what we say or what we discuss in the meeting. Everybody's like, okay, let's get it done. We're going to do it. There are bright ideas. Josh sometimes with the technology, it's like, wow, it's just like mind-boggling what he and the tech team came up with. And then, we just have good execution. And even on that end, we're growing, but the team is really good. And that's what I like.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. We do have a team of just people that are way more intelligent than me. When I think there's a phrase in English that my grandpa used to say that if you want to fly with eagles, you fly with eagles. But if you want to walk with ducks, you walk with ducks. And it's like me working at Supra makes me feel that way, right? It's like I'm probably a duck technologically speaking, but I'm flying with eagles, baby, and I'm flying with eagles daily. So I'm getting a little better every day. I can't be more excited for the team that we're working with. So yeah, I appreciate your kind words, and I can't agree with you more.
I feel the same way, especially with the amount of Americans that I work with. All these bald eagles cruising around, man. Sander,
I think there's only like 4 of us.
No, you're all the guys that I work with, man.
I guess that's true.
Sander, what would you like to see from Supra in the next 6 months?
In the next 6 months?
Yeah.
I can't wait for EVM to come in, to get integrated in all to the liquidity pools, the MetaMask, the Trust Wallet, make it easy to get into Supra, easy to get into Dexlyn, to create something, to get, meme culture in there, NFTs, DeFi. And, I just can't wait to see. It's like this precious baby, right? It's not ours baby, but John and Josh's, but it's like this baby and you see it growing up and you're just looking at it like, make the first steps and, get your first bicycle and stuff like that. So I'm really bullish about, what is growing in the space. And I think, getting that EVM, getting integrated into liquidity pools, making sure that the DeFi ecosystem really grows, attracting even more interesting builders, because Supra also has like a very interesting look on that, right? Because they're like looking into like really big projects with like, massive package, really great use cases, and also something else that the other chains are doing while still attracting meme coins, DeFi, all of that stuff. So just being honest, I think that Supra in like 6 months' time will be in a very good place.
I love that. And we are getting a little quick on time, but I do want to remind the audience, if y'all have any questions that you would like to ask Sander or the Supra team, please ask them now in whatever comments of whatever platform you're watching this on. I know we're kind of across multiple platforms with us using Restream now. But with my next and probably last question, I do want to say the Supra community has matured already in the last 3 months after TG. I'm sure you've been a part of projects before. When TG happens, you have the initial airdrop dumpers. This is just a part of every single project. And this isn't only with coins I'm talking about NFT projects. You have these people that farm these projects for months at a time. And then guess what? On the day of launch, they sell it for pennies on the dollar. People call it getting their burger and fries on mint day or launch day or whatever it may be. From the airdrop hunters that were more excited to true supporters, I guess, is where I feel like we are with our community at this point. What advice would you give to the Supra community watching this live stream right now? It's like the people that are actually in for the right reasons at this point. Obviously, we still have a long way to go, but things are looking great for us. So what is advice that you would give for a holder of Supra?
I think if you're a part of the community of Supra, you're in a really good place. And I think it's really important to stick together and look beyond today and tomorrow, right? So Supra again, it's like it's a giant that is like in its infancy phases, right? So you are here at this moment in time. This is going to be credible. This is going to be a credible story in like 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years, or maybe when you have grandchildren to tell, hey, I was, with the Supra community at the very early days. And I also think that, these markets always go up and down, and you just need to, also, if you look at it from an investment point of view, rethink, what is Supra building? Where are we? What is going to happen next? How transparent is the team? What are they building? And you see the progress. You see, stuff moving. And I would also say compare it with like the charts of Aptos or Sui or even Solana, right? And compare it where they were and where we are. And I think that you then would see that the execution power of the team is tremendously. The technology is even better. And I think that you will see that more and more and more projects will also see this. And yes, it is building, but it's also fun. And you're here. You have the chance to be early on Dexlyn. You have the chance to be early on Pumpit. Create your own, meme token. Have some fun. Educate yourself about how the space works, and stick together and ensure that you keep on following everything and just enjoy your time as well.
And this is such an age-old thing that I hate even saying, but in the case of Supra, like I have to say, that's like we're early. You know what I mean? It's like we're a layer 1 blockchain that just launched in November, and at the end of November, so really December. So we're talking 4 months time, less than that, really. We're so early, and the tech is so strong, and we have backing of so many strong people in this industry that it's like, yes, it does. Getting rich overnight is something that happens in meme coins, right? But we are in it for the long run. We're in it for the right reasons. We're building tech that is legitimately going to change this landscape of Web3 as a whole forever. And so if you're with Supra now, thank you for being here, and buckle up, baby, because we're just getting started. I mean, we are literally in our infancy stages and we're already making moves. So if that doesn't make you bullish, if that doesn't make you excited for the next 6 months, year, 2 years, 5 years, I don't know what will, but I'll still be here. Sander will still be here. James will still be here. And I'm in it for the long run. So I'm excited.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Love that. This is a tough question for you, Sander, but I'm going to ask it anyway. It comes from Stephen Joachim. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Stephen, on X. He asks, how do you see Supra competing with existing competition like Sui and newcomers like Taraxa?
Oh wow, yeah, that's always good, these types of questions. So, but first of all, I kind of feel stupid because I don't know what Taraxa is, so I need to Google it quickly to see what it is. But let's focus a little bit on the first part of the question. So how does Supra compete with a company and a project like Sui, right? So I think first of all, what you need to understand, both are built on Move language. Right, so there is a direct competition there. It's not directly competition with EVM change yet, although both are moving into that direction. I think that Sui, on the other hand, they released 2 years before Supra. It's coming from the top of my mind. So they've had 2 years in a bear market to build their infrastructure, to build their community, to build their ecosystem projects, to build up their marketing teams, to understand what works, etc., etc. So in that sense, it feels like they have like a 2 years head start. But I think in terms of like their technology, I'm not sure if I can say this, but in terms of their technology, they are on par or a little bit lower than Supras. And I actually was in a conversation with the Sui founders and the Supra founders where they actually confessed that to each other. So I think that in terms of like technology and backbone, I think Supra is a little bit better. But Sui, of course, has the advantage of already been building, getting projects onto the ecosystem, etc., etc. So will there be competition? Yes, I think all the L1s and the L2s have competition on attention, on builders, etc., etc. But in the end, I truly believe that builders will start looking and say, okay, where do I have the most services, the best services, and how can I build the best DApps? How can I build a killer DApp, on the chain that brings everything? And that's why, I like Supra, because it's integrated. It is an Oracle. It is an L1. There is this idea of containers and L2 on the blockchain of Supra itself, which is like mind-blowingly interesting to a lot of builders. So I think that if Supra just continues to this development, Supra can grow faster than Sui did because of scalability, the setup, the way they operate, and also the technology backbone. I really like Sui as well because they're smart, they're doing the right things, they understand what they need to do strategically, they're very strong. So is the competition? Yes. Does it need to be like, problematic? No, completely not. The Sui team itself is also very smart and very good, and also very nice people, and I speak to them quite often as well. So yeah, I think there is a lot of stuff moving forward, and also don't forget that it's not all Move, it's also EVM in the future, Solana. So it's all coming together in the end, right? Just think about it. If you would go to Microsoft and you'd say, hey, do you want to build like stuff on the blockchain? Why haven't they chosen? Think about that. Why haven't they chosen? Why haven't they chosen Polygon? Why have they chosen Solana? Because they see defragmented liquidity, they see defragmented technology, they see that they need to like assist like 10 different blockchains. Why wouldn't you go with the all-in-one? Why wouldn't you go with Supra?
It's a very good question.
The solution is.
It's a very good question.
The real hype man for Supra right here. Guys, I think we're going to leave it there. We want to honor your time, Sander. I know you've had a crazy day of X Spaces. This has been incredible. Just really appreciate your time. Couple of comments here in the comment section. The SUP is a community project there. Best all-in-one L1 blockchain. Mang P. Witt agrees with you. He says, totally agree with you. Stephen Joachim replied to his question saying, P.S. I love Supra. I like this one. Accelerator said this. He said Rust is better than Move. Rust is bigger than Move, which is interesting. So Cosm Wasm is actually going to be coming to Supra after Solana VM. And we just hired a Rust engineer here at Supra, by the way. So just wanted you to know that, Accelerator. But yeah, that's about it for comments, guys. There's so much more to say here, Chase. Like, this is the worst part, trying to wrap up with such an interesting guest, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I could sit here and talk about this for hours, especially coming off a long weekend of like just go. Being able to like sit down and just have like a genuine conversation is very nice. If you've ever been to any conference ever, you know that 90% of the time you're doing, hey, what's up? Who you work for? My name is Chase. What do you do? Cool. Me too. Want to meet up? Cool. Snap. And then you walk away and you do it 100,000 more times over the next 3 days. And so being able to have a genuine conversation, sit here, talk about genuine topics that we all like care about and have a good time discussing, it's good for my brain. So thank you for welcoming me back home, welcome me back to Texas, and welcome me back to Elevation, baby. I feel good.
Yeah. Sander, also, just last question quickly, and I'm going to ask you for final comments as well. The question is, when KillerWhales merch? So that's the question for you, and any final comments from you, man?
That is a great question. So we're going to send you guys some KillerWhales merch for sure, like a cool cab or something like that. That always works. And it also helps with the conversations on such an event, because they're like, hey, you were KillerWhales, I know that. So we kind of like sneaky launched the merch shop 2 days ago. It's under shop.hello.one, shop.hello.one. You can buy all the merch you want. It gets delivered at your front door. There's KillerWhales merch, there's Hello merch. There is even a pretty picture from our co-founder, Paul. So I would definitely check it out, have some fun, and it's available right now.
Anything else you want to say, man, to the Supra community watching as we wrap up?
Yeah, sure. So again, guys, be bullish on Supra. I think it's really something cool. We're very proud to partner with Supra on KillerWhales and Hello Labs. We would love to, in the future, build on Supra. I think it's definitely something that we're exploring at this moment in time, and bring some of the cool utilities to the Supra ecosystem. And for the rest, we're working with Supra on KillerWhales Season 2 and Season 3. So if you're a builder, you think like, hey, I have a cool idea, contact the Supra team and pitch your idea. And we can definitely get in contact about bringing you guys onto the show or helping you guys with some support through the Supra team, through the Supra connection. So if you're a builder, don't be shy. Get in front of a camera, fill out a form, and start building, because it's super easy, it's super fun, and it's a great partner to work with.
Boom. And if you guys don't follow Sander on X, it's real simple. He is Sander Gortjes. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I mean, I think you're Dutch, right? And here I am in South Africa, where we were colonized by the Dutch, and I can't even get that right. Am I getting it? Am I getting it right here?
I believe it's like it's a Swedish first name and a German last name. So James, I respond to any type of like pronunciation of the name. I've learned it throughout the year, so everything's fine by me.
Mine would be Gortjes.
Gortjes, yeah.
Gorgeous, like gorgeous. Yeah, that I like that, Chase. I like that. But for those that want to follow, Sander_Gortjes. Okay, Gortjes. Chase, this has been great, man.
Wonderful. It's nice to come back and do this. Like I said, I can't thank y'all enough for just letting me decompress on an episode like this. I had a wonderful time in East Denver, but as y'all know, if you ever travel for conferences, you think that they're going to be relaxing, and they never are, so everybody's going 1,000 miles per hour for the whole time you're there. It's nice to sit down. It's nice to finally speak to you, Sander. I mean, like I said, I've been at Supra for coming on 2 years now. You've been here a little over a year. So we work together, but not very closely, just because I'm not kind of on that side of things. So it's been great getting to know you, and I can't wait to get to know you more moving forward.
100%. Thank you very much for having me, guys, and appreciate the Supra community for turning up.
Absolutely.
The pleasure is ours, man. The pleasure is truly ours. Sander, thank you so much. Sander Gortjes. Guys, this has been SUP episode 8. Join us next week, same time next week, same place, right here on X, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. That's where we're at. Big thank you to Hoyt and Napoon in the background. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. SUP.
SUP, baby.
SUP.